Welcome back to Mac Talks Football. And if you thought Real Madrid are going through a crisis, and if you thought that Chelsea are having a horrendous season, or if you thought that Wolverhampton and Wolfsburg being in a relegation scare, or Tottenham getting almost relegated was a bad or a horrible season, nothing compares to the season that Marseille are having from an opening day defeat to a two players fighting amongst each other, getting in, resulting in both of them getting sacked, from a director of football and president going at each other, from a manager resigning, from a new badge unveiled by the club that the fans did not like, to players, spraying firing extinguishers at the staff. Marseille have had an amazing once in a lifetime season that the fans and the players and the staff and everybody associated with Marseille would like to forget. So I am here to discuss the most insane season that our club could have. So let's get started. It all starts on the opening day of the season. Marseille lose their first match of the season 1-0, and that's bad enough. But in the locker room, Adrian Rabiot and Jonathan Rowe get into a heated exchange. The ball almost it becomes a fist fight, and it was it was such a traumatic event that the 17-year-old Jordan Barker had to be taken to the hospital because of a mental stress and what he saw. And of course, both Adrian Rabiot and Jonathan Rowe were assaulted, and they were shipped out of the club quite quickly. And you would think this is the height of madness at Marseille that's going to happen in this season, but you forget Roberto De Zerbi is the manager. Continuous problems with the manager, with the management, with the hierarchy and the players, and so many outbursts from Roberto De Zerbi continue throughout the season, and of course it ends up in him resigning from the Marseille job. That is the manager, but the behind the scene, the president Langora and the club director of football Mehdi Manisha, both of them are going at it. There's rumors about disagreements between them, how the club should move forward. Both of them have a different vision, both of them want to do things their way, and it is not really working out. And just before hours before De Zerbi was about to resign, Benicia resigns from his post, but then De Zerbi resigns and he makes a U-turn, and he's bring back and he's given more responsibilities, and of course Langora doesn't like it. So then Langora resigns, and Mehdi Benicia is the guy now running the football. De Zerbi goes away, and they bring in former Marseille defender Habib Beye as their new manager. So you're thinking two big people have left, and things are gonna get better for Marseille. It doesn't, because Habib Beye very quickly it becomes that he's not the type of manager that the players would have wanted. De Zerbi was a very sort of a man-to-man type of a manager, and Habib Beye is sort of like a dictator. He tells things. He's very tough with the players, and they are not really good. He comes out and he openly starts questioning the players' attitude yet again. And one of those big players is the midfielder Abdelli. Has been really good for Marseille. He says, and it is he was told quite clearly by Habib Beye that he's not going to be playing for Marseille anytime soon. As so was the case with Aitel Menieri, the Arsenal loanee that went to Marseille for and the context of Menieri going to Marseille was that he was going to play under De Zerbi. De Zerbi goes away, and then in comes Beye and Menieri don't hit it off quickly. It is a big problem for him. He said that he's the commitment from Menieri is not there, and he has not been used in the team's games for almost 3 months now. So he's really struggling there. And then of course the biggest player for the last two seasons, Mason Greenwood, has a problem with Beye as well. He stops taking the mandatory French lesson. He's not following the club's protocol, and he's become an isolated figure at the club. Again, the problem is starting to look like that De Zerbi was the main linchpin that was connecting everything. Since he has gone, it has become a big problem, and it looks like that Greenwood is gonna gonna be sold at the end of the season. And despite all of that and other things, Marseille decided that they want to unveil a new badge of for their club. And I don't remember there has been at one point since I've been following football that when you decide to bring in a new badge, the fans have accepted as is in a good way, and that's what happens here. The fans revolt against the new idea of the badge, and it becomes a new problem for the Marseille hierarchy. There are protests outside the stadium, there are protests during the games and whatnot, and it is a catastrophic event. Anything they wanted to try to do for some good PR, it becomes even a negative PR, and everything is under fire. And speaking of fire, 2 or 3 days ago, a new story comes out that Aubameyang, throws a fire extinguisher spray at one of the staff members during a party that was organized by 10 players in the staff area, which basically ended up destroying a lot of that the staff areas and equipment, and of course hurting people, the staff that were there as well. And despite all of that chaotic season and everything that has happened, of course, Aubameyang is under investigation. They suspended him for the weekend's game, so he did not play the last game as well. And if all of that was not enough, they have failed to qualify for the Champions League, and they are really struggling to qualify for Europe as well. They are currently sixth in the league in that Conference League spot, but there's a point difference. So by the end of the season, one game a match week remaining, and it could end up being Marseille's probably, if the most chaotic season could end up being even worse if they don't qualify for Europe. As I said, they are not going to qualify for the Champions League. They're not going to qualify for Europa League as well. The only chance they have is to qualify for the Conference League, and even that's looking really hard. So this is what all has happened at Marseille, and I'm just sitting here. If you're a Marseille fan, you're just sitting here, and your head is going to explode. Every 2 months, every 3 months, there is another scandal, another story out of Marseille, and it is really so surprising, because last season Marseille had an amazing season. They went toe to toe with PSG, with a tight race, De Zerbi at the helm. Everything was looking good. The young players coming in, and the start of the season, the signings that they made, it was looking really good for Marseille, and people expected that they fell short last season, but everybody thought that this season was going to be really good for Marseille, and they were going to have a real go at PSG. And if you would have looked prior to the season, a lot of the PSG fans, there was a general consensus among Liga fans that this could be the year where Marseille might topple PSG from the pole position, but as you said, it became it went downhill from the get-go. From day one, it was not what everybody expected, especially if you have like two important players like Rabiot and Rowe leaving the club, and you have to sell them. And it just kept on going and going, and and the lava in the volcano started erupting, and it has been an utter chaos at Marseille. And if I'm being very honest with you, I personally felt that the Roberto De Zerbi sacking was the most stupidest thing that they have ever done, and it has not really worked out. The problems were there before that, but I felt that he was holding a lot of it together. But him going, it has opened a new Pandora box and whatnot, and it will be a very interesting summer at Marseille. It has been a disastrous season, just a game remaining, and the only hope the Marseille fans have is that they end up winning on that last day, so they have some sort of European football next season. Because if that doesn't happen, it's going. At the moment, if I'm being very honest with you, it is a nine out of time in terms of the worst season for Marseille. But if they don't qualify for Europe, this could not go, and this could not become a worst season for Marseille. It's going to be a 10 out of a 10 horrendous season for Marseille. It already is, in my opinion, but not qualifying for Europe, it's going to be an icing on the cake for Marseille. That's for me in this video. Let me know what you guys thought of the entire scenario at Marseille, and who do you think is really at fault for Marseille having this horrible season, and what do you think is forward for Marseille, and how they can get better. Let me know in the comment section below. Like the video, share it as well, click on the notification bell, and of course subscribe to the channel. Until next time, bye bye.